AI can now do so much more than just answer simple questions and write social media captions for you. It can now sort your inbox, forward emails to the right person, build entire websites, social media pages, run reports, create dashboards, and do work without you even touching the computer. This is Agentic AI, and I believe that it is about to completely change how small business owners do their work. Over the past year, I've used Agentic AI to automate over 100 hours per week of work in my small business. So in today's video, I'm going to explain to you what Agentic AI really is, how it works, and how it could be making you money this year. If you haven't met me, hi, my name is Abbey Ashley, and I'm the founder of The Virtual Savvy. Over the past decade, I've trained over 10,000 virtual assistants to launch, grow, scale their businesses, creating 6 and even 7-figure entrepreneurs from my program. Over the past year, though, something has shifted in the industry, and we are now training our virtual assistants to become AI integrators, to come into businesses and to completely transform the way work is done. Outsourcing has never looked the same, and I'm so excited for this new chapter. So if you want to learn more about outsourcing, especially via AI, definitely subscribe to my channel. And hey, you can hit that little bell to be notified every time I release new content. So in today's video, we're just breaking down some definitions because I know that all of this can feel really big and scary and overwhelming, and it's easy to feel left behind. And I love making complex things feel simple, so let's dive into some basic definitions. First, what is generative AI? This is how most people are using AI right now. Generative AI responds to a prompt that you give it. Some examples of this might include writing a caption, drafting an email, summarizing a document, generating an image, brainstorming ideas, creating an outline. Essentially, you ask it to do something and it generates a response. Basically, if you want it to do something else, you have to give it another prompt. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all can act in this manner where it's just this back and forth kind of conversation. This is incredibly helpful, but you are still directing every step. So if that's what generative AI is, then what is Agentic AI? Agentic AI doesn't just answer a question. It can actually form a multi-step process to take action on the things that you need done. That means that it can evaluate information, decide what needs to happen next, connect with different tools, and actually implement actions, complete actions on your behalf. It can check its own work to make sure it did the action correctly. It can adjust when something needs changed or ask for human approval if it's needed. Think of generative AI as an assistant that you ask to do one task, whereas Agentic AI is an employee that you expect an outcome from. Let me give you a real-life example of this in action so you can know how I'm using this in my own business. Here you can see my email executive assistant. This is an assistant that checks my email twice a day. I have it run early in the morning and then late in the afternoon, trying to avoid peak hours just so I'm not using so many credits. So it does get checked twice a day. And this is done with the Gmail connector. So I've connected Claude to my Gmail, and now it goes in and every morning it will do an email triage. It will go into my unsubscribed folder. If there are emails that I have marked that I want to unsubscribe to, it will unsubscribe to those emails for me. Then it will put any marketing newsletter ones that I haven't really plugged in as ones that I want to keep. I actually have it set to just keep these in my inbox because sometimes I like to look at them, and a lot of times I just drag them over to my unsubscribe, so that kind of remains something that I like to look at. Anything needing my attention, there wasn't anything today, but I do have an Abbey's review folder, and it will drop it in that folder if it's something that I need to look at, which today was nothing. And what you don't see here is that I did have Claude initially help me set up a lot of forwarding options. So that's happening in the background automatically too. There are certain emails that go to certain members of my team, so I never ever even see those in my inbox anymore. What I didn't mention in the video is that I also have set up for any of the emails that go into my inbox. You saw that there weren't any in the example. There was nothing that I needed attention on. But if something does go in my inbox that I need to respond to, Claude will actually create the draft of that email for me. So how I need to respond, it goes ahead and it writes it in the email. And then instead of having to respond to each email, I just read over what Claude wrote, make sure I like it, and hit send. This has literally saved me hours a week in work, and this is just with one simple automation. Let me give you a few more examples to show you what the difference between generative AI and agentic AI could really look like. Generative AI waits for your prompt. It completes one task at a time. It produces content or information. It requires you to direct to the next step. It assists you to do the work. Where agentic AI can be triggered automatically. You saw the schedule that I had set up, so I never have to trigger it. It triggers itself. It completes multiple connected steps. It uses tools and information to take action. It connected to my Gmail. It makes decisions based on rules that you give it. It continues working until it reaches a goal or it needs human help. And it actually completes work for you. And this is where things get absolutely wild because AI can stop feeling just like a chatbot and can feel like an actual employee doing work in your business for you. So let me break apart how it actually does that. This is a 5-step overview of how agentic AI works. How does it go from an idea to actual execution? Step number 1 is you have to give the agent a goal. Now, even though Claude is my tool of choice, you can definitely do this on other AI platforms as long as they have that agentic feature where they can do the work for you. So step number 1 is that you give that agent a goal. Now, I recommend that you use my CLEAR formula to give it a goal. My CLEAR formula is simply this. The C stands for context. You've got to give it a clear goal. I want to create a completely automated system that will answer my emails for me. I'm a virtual assistant and I get a lot of emails, so I need you to help me create a system that's going to work. L stands for length. Now, a lot of times this is if you're creating content, so this might not apply as much to this one. But for this circumstance, I would say I would like for you to even respond to emails on my behalf, or at least create drafts on how I would respond. I want these emails not to be incredibly lengthy, but long enough to answer the question directly and in detail. 1 paragraph is usually enough. Examples. I would give it some examples of how I respond to emails. Create a simple PDF of some common emails that you answer on a day-to-day basis, attach it to the prompt, and say, here are some examples of how I like to respond to common emails that I get. Make sure you ask Claude before you build anything. Before you build anything, I always say that, before you build anything, interview me and ask me questions about how I want this task completed. Ask Claude before you build anything. That phrase is very important because it'll be off to the races sometimes. Before you build anything, please interview me so you know exactly what I want from this agent before you start building it. And then the R stands for role. In this entire process, I want you to act as an expert customer service agent, so people who enter my inbox always feel well taken care of. This is how you give AI a good goal, is by giving it a clear goal. If you've ever gotten a response that wasn't great from AI, it's probably because your prompt wasn't incredibly clear, and that's why I suggest you use this method. All right, so after you've given it a clear goal, next it needs some context. Now, hopefully you've set up your context ahead of time. This means that you have trained your AI agent to know you. You've asked it to interview you a few times. You've created a brand voice skill so it knows your brand, it knows your voice, it knows your offers. All this is going to be incredibly important and necessary so it can act like a real employee on your team. Step number 3 is that now AI is going to take over and it is going to break whatever goal you gave it. In this instance, it was creating an inbox EA. It's going to break that down into steps. And you can even ask, before you build anything, what are the steps that we would take to do this effectively? Again, I always use that before you build anything because sometimes Claude will just run off and start building things. I'm like, no, I wasn't ready. Tell me the exact steps you would take. And so it's going to tell you the steps that it would take. And sometimes it will need your involvement. For instance, if I needed to connect my Gmail account and I hadn't done that, there's going to be some actual permissions, some things that I need to do to connect Gmail to that agent. But again, it's going to break that apart for you. Now, step number 4, it will use tools. And this is where the magic of agentic work really comes from. If you're just doing generative AI, where you're just going back and forth and you're just talking to it, it's not really connecting to outside tools and doing work for you. But agentic AI will connect natively to tools, or if it can't connect natively through, a native integration or an MCP, then it may use Zapier in order to connect or make or innate in. There's other connection tools. I use Zapier personally, but at the end of the day, it's going to connect. So how that looks practically is, instead of me saying, hey, could you write a 5-part launch series for this new product I have, and it would just show up in the chat, it would actually write those emails and then connect to Kit, my email platform, and put the emails in email drafts for me, okay? Do you see the difference? One would be kind of the prompting, here's the information. The other one actually does work and it creates the actual emails for me as drafts. Number 5, it evaluates the results. So it should be built into your system to actually review the results that it gave you, and it can evaluate itself whether it did a good job and even give you information on, hey, this task was complete. Here are some things that worked. Here are some things that didn't work. Here are some suggestions I have. It can actually do that for itself, which is so cool. And then step number 6 is that a human provides oversight. And I think that this is one of the least talked about elements of AI, is that honestly, you still need a human in the loop. One of the main things you'll notice in this entire conversation that we've been having is that a human was very much still needed to set up this process, to give the prompt, to fix it when it messes up, because let's be honest, you can give it the most perfect prompt and sometimes something's going to get disconnected, or it's going to give you an email response that you say, that is not what I wanted, right? And so there definitely needs to be a human to set it up, to maintain it, and to go ahead and make sure that it's doing its job well. A lot of times you'll also notice when you're setting up agentic work that it can do so much and it can get you 80% of the way there. For instance, in my email agent, it is actually setting aside emails that I need to look at. It's drafting the response for me, but I'm still going in and hitting send. I'm doing that last 10, 15, 20% of the work. And again, a human is needed for that. And this is where AI integrators really come in. And this is what I'm so excited to be training my virtual assistants to now do. Because you need that human in the loop. You need someone to come in, set up the AI, keep it running, and do that extra 10, 20, 15% on the back end. This is where my AI integrators come in. So if you're interested in making money by setting up these types of agents for yourself, go ahead and comment waitlist below, because my AI integrator certification program launches at the end of August, and I'd love to have you join us in our first cohort. Now, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What is one repetitive task that you would love to automate in your business? I'm going to be creating more content on this channel, and I'd love to hear from you because your ideas will help me know what to create next. And if you want to hear more about this massive opportunity to become an AI integrator for small business owners, charging $2,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 or more for your services per month to small business owners, go ahead and check out my last video right over here. All right, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.